The Bills, I think last year were the best team in the AFC. They didn't get to the Super Bowl. That doesn't always happen. They didn't get to the AFC Championship game. That doesn't always happen. I think the Bills were the best team in the AFC. I think the Chiefs were second. The Bengals probably third. I think the Bengals are on the verge of getting better, or maybe already have. I also think they were due to regress to the mean a little bit, so I'm really not sure about
They're
them.
bringing in Leo Collins too,
and I'm going to talk about that here in a moment as well.
Sure.
The Bills got better objectively, I think, and
Yes.
were already possibly the best. So I know people are like, well, until proven otherwise, until they can beat the Chiefs. The Bills were the best team in the AFC as of March 17th or March 18th, 2022. I think the Chargers, they improved enough. A team that didn't even make the playoffs this season, but was very close to doing so. They could win the AFC West. I would not be surprised as of March 17th. The Broncos, they were a respectably not good team with a good defense and developing playmakers and an improving line. They got a quarterback who at his best is one of the best in the NFL. If that's the case, they could be in the mix for 10 wins. They could make the playoffs. They could do some crazy stuff. The Raiders made the playoffs. They surprisingly are actually making a few moves this offseason to improve. They could win 10 games. Like the worst team in the AFC West could be 9-8 this coming season. And with if you're not treating this same thing, I've seen so many people, and I wrote an article about Lucas Niang a couple weeks ago about he should be given the chance to be the starting guy, but the Chiefs should bring in some insurance / competition that isn't a maximal investment. Meaning when Andrew Wiley got re-signed, that's what I meant. I'm like, bring in a guy who can step in if needed, play at an adequate level. If Andrew Wiley's your fifth best offensive lineman, you have a objectively good line. Everyone said, oh, well, the AFC West is improving. They're getting all these pass rushers, blah, blah, blah. The Chiefs need to throw at Lyle Collins. They need to do this. They need to do that. Devontae Adams is with the Raiders. The Broncos have a quarterback. The Chargers have Mike Williams back and a good quarterback. If you're not giving the same energy to the Chiefs secondary, specifically the cornerback position, you're freaking out about the offensive line. Offensive line isn't even the Chiefs' biggest need on offense right now. It's a second wide receiver by a long shot. The Chiefs' biggest needs right now, edge, cornerback, second wide receiver. Then you have the tier 2 of right tackle, of running back depth, of interior defensive line help, of a third linebacker, of a third safety, all that stuff. That's like 6 or 7 things I just listed. The Chiefs have fixed one, and it was the starting safety position. And dude, like I said, it's a long off season. Brett Veach is a good GM. He's good at his job. He's aggressive. I would be absolutely floored if he let the entire offseason pass him by and use this as a reset year to kind of not improve the team and just see what happens. But also, I'm not going to say I told you so, but not you specifically, Connor. But life comes at you fast in the NFL, and I get the Chiefs have made 4 AFC championships in a row. I get that they've been good. They were a Jimmy Garoppolo proper connection away from possibly losing their Super Bowl, just like they were close to getting to the Super Bowl against the Patriots, just like they were close this year to get into the Super Bowl. Stuff changes quickly in the NFL. The Chiefs, they were on top for a while. That could be over starting this season. So, I mean, it's not, the expectation at first was so high that not every year you're going to make the AFC Championship. There's a non-zero chance, and possibly even a good one, that the Chiefs are not a top 2 team in the AFC this year. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I'm saying there's a legitimate chance that it's going to happen. And it was a nice ride while they had it, and maybe they can do things to fix it. But right now, as we speak, I would not pick them to get to the Super Bowl for the first time in a while. And I don't know if I'd pick them definitively to be second best in the conference. I'm stepping off the soapbox.
I mean, I pretty much agree with what you said, but it is a caveat of right now. I think by this point last year, they had only re-signed Joe Thuney, and we knew, and there was a lot of work to do on the O-line, but they got it done. I think this year, though, there's just They have what, one and a half edge players. They have no interior. They have like Turk and Chris Jones on the interior, so no real like run stuffers. They have two linebackers, but they really need three. They have one and a half corners, Fenton and Sneed, and they have two safeties. Cool. They have Reid and Thornhill. They just, but like, where's the talent on defense? Like, they had way more talent in the last few years, and they still were like 22nd. So there's that, and they don't have a wide receiver too. They only have two wide receivers, like ones that have actually played well in the NFL under contract. So, and then of course, right tackle Lucas Niang going up against Chandler Jones, Bradley Chubb, Randy Gregory, Khalil Mack, Joey Boza. It's either him or Andrew Wiley, and Andrew Wiley did fine last year. I like him coming back on that deal, but he's just not a high-end starter, and it's just like you kind of need it because there's so much talent in the AFC West now. So it has to come from somewhere. There's still high-end talent out there. Zarius Smith actually didn't sign with the Ravens, so they could go get him. That would be a good signing. Juju's still out there, and there's other talent as well. But it's to the point where if they don't get these guys and they don't like trade for Hunter, you have to go into this season with like realistic expectations. And that's not penciling them in as the AFC West champion and competing for that one bye week. It's like they could get it. They're one of the 4 teams that could get it. They're one of the 3 teams that could realistically win the West, but nothing's guaranteed now. While in past years, you could go, there's not really a team I can see competing with them. So it's time to wait and see what they respond with. But it's not looking great, is how I'm feeling right now.